Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We are diving into a topic that might surprise you today. Just how smart are ducks, really? For a long time, people thought birds were just bird brains. Cute, maybe, but not all that clever. But science has come a long way, and we're really starting to understand that birds, including ducks, are far more intelligent than we have previously given them credit for. So today we're going to look at duck intelligence, what it looks like, how it shows up on the homestead, and why it matters if you're raising ducks yourself. I'll be sharing some of my own observations from life here on the farm, as well as some fascinating facts from animal behavior research that might just change the way you look at your backyard quackers. Grab a snack, pull up a chair, and let's talk ducks. For a long time, people assumed that birds were instinct-driven creatures. Isn't that right? But people assumed they were instinct-driven creatures, ones without much thinking power. That's where the whole bird brain thing came from, meaning to imply someone who wasn't all that bright. But over the last couple of decades, researchers have learned a lot about avian intelligence. Studies on parrots, crows, and ravens have shown them problem solving, using tools, and even understanding basic concepts like cause and effect. And while ducks haven't gotten quite as much attention from researchers as some of their flashier bird cousins, we do know that ducks are not just adorable. They're also incredibly smart. So let's start with one of the most striking examples of duck intelligence. Social learning. Ducks learn by watching each other. I've seen it on my own farm. We had a young cayuga duck, very shy, kept her distance. But over time, watching her mama who was pretty tame, she would come over to me, take food from my hand, and over time the little one watched her mom do this again and again, and so she started doing it. She crept up a little closer, and then closer, and then closer, and finally she did exactly what her mama did. Now, we might just see that as monkey see, monkey do, but really it's a sign that they're capable of learning from each other, not just acting on instinct. Nobody trained her. She just observed, learned, and adjusted. That's classic social learning, and it takes more brain power than people realize. We take it for granted because it's something we do so easily. But it is learning. It is intelligence. But studies have shown that ducklings could imprint on abstract relationships, like same versus different, after just one exposure. That's something human babies struggle with. Now, I'm not saying ducklings are smarter than human babies. I'm just saying they probably have a different type of learning, and they have a different level of intelligence. They're not smarter than we are. We're smarter than them. I mean, I'm smarter than these ducks, I promise. But the thing you might have to realize is they're not bird-brained, okay? They do have problem-solving skills. They are smart enough to learn. Another thing I've seen in ducks is that they recognize individual humans. If you've raised ducks for any length of time, you might have noticed this too. They know who feeds them, they know who they can trust, and they remember. I've had ducks who would ignore strangers completely, but run up to Tristan as soon as they heard his voice. Not just because he has food, but because they know Tristan. They love Tristan. They respect Tristan. So they go up to him. This kind of recognition is evidence of memory and individual awareness. They aren't just reacting to noise, they're identifying you. They see you, and they know you. Some studies have shown that ducks can even recognize other ducks they were raised with, even after being separated for a long period of time. That's long-term memory at work. Okay, and it's not something all of us pick up on at first. It's long-term memory. So let me tell you another story. My neighbor at the time, we're not neighbors anymore because we both moved, but my neighbor and best friend had a clever little runner duck who figured out that if she stepped just right on the corner of a shallow tub, she could tip it over. Why? Because she wanted the fresh water that came out as it refilled. After watching her do it a few times, more ducks started doing it the next day. They all were learning from each other. Now, you could say that's just coincidence, but ducks figure out how to work gates, they learn feeding routines down to the minute, and they wait near certain spots where I used to toss snacks in case I do it again. That's anticipation, pattern recognition, and planning. Hallmarks of higher thinking. No, they're not the most brilliant creatures in the world, but they're smart enough to recognize things. Ducks don't just honk randomly either. They have a wide range of vocalizations and body language that they use to communicate with each other and with us. Dolly's over here. So a mother duck uses soft clucks and coos to talk to her ducklings. A drake might give short bursts of sound to warn others of danger. And if you listen closely, you can start to tell the difference between an "I'm real happy to see you" quack and "Hey, that's mine." They also experience and express emotions. You can tell when a duck is frightened, content, stressed, or playful by its movements and by the sounds it makes. They wag their little tails, bob their heads, and fluff their feathers in different emotional states. And yes, they can get bored. Smart animals need enrichment. A bored duck might start pecking at other ducks or engaging in obsessive behavior. Offering foraging toys and small water features or even just varied treats can help keep them stimulated. Around here, we free range. Okay, we free range so that these guys get plenty of enrichment and have a lot of fun foraging. A lot of people don't know this, but you can train your ducks, just like dogs and chickens and goats. It takes time and consistency, and they're certainly not as easy to train as a dog, but it can be done. Many duck owners will use clicker training to teach ducks to come, follow, or even go to specific places. Some people train their ducks to return to the coop at night by using a call and a treat reward. I don't use a clicker, but I do use vocal clues. I've trained my ducks to come when I call, and sometimes you've heard me go duck, duck, duck. That's just me talking to them. But when I go, I'm not going to do it loudly because if I say it really high pitched, they'll come running and I don't want them to do that right now. But if I yell in a really high pitched, happy tone, "Hey, duckies!" No, I don't. Sorry, there's a couple over there that think I have snacks now. I'm not going to say it loud or the ones are going to come out of the bush. And she already looked at me and to see if I had snacks. But that means they know I've got snacks. Okay? And these two are staring at me. I don't. I'm sorry. I won't say it again. But they come because they know that I have snacks. I don't. Not just the same ones. Generations of ducks can learn this routine as well. It's not just you have to just these two ducks. They can teach it to their little ones. And that's important. That's cognitive learning and memory again. So why does duck intelligence matter? It matters because when we understand that ducks are thinking, learning creatures, we treat them better. We have a better experience with them. Even if we're raising them for food, we still have a better experience with them. And that is important for us and for them. We provide them with more than just food and water. We'll offer stimulation, safety, and affection. And in return, they offer us companionship and, yes, sometimes food. Okay? That's just the way it is. Sorry, sometimes ducks are food. No, we don't eat our ducks. We do not eat the cayucas. Okay? We do not, I promise. But people do. Okay? Ducks are very much on the menu. That doesn't mean you can't treat them gently, can't treat them wonderfully, offer them safety and affection while they're in your care. Because smart animals need more than just basic survival. They need enrichment, socialization, and a safe space where they can express their natural behaviors. Just like Dolly is doing. We had a tree in the way, but we also have Dolly over there. So if you're thinking about raising ducks, or if you already have ducks, keep in mind that they thrive on consistency and social bonding. They benefit from interaction and positive reinforcement. They remember experiences, both the good and the bad. They go under the lawnmower and start laying more eggs. I know they're there. I'm not stupid. And they're smarter than you think. That's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. Drop a comment below if you've ever seen a duck do something surprisingly smart, or if you've got a question about your very own flock. We'll see you tomorrow.